I'm super excited to finish third place this race, and I wasn't expecting this. The main highlights was that one of the top rivals who finished always first didn't finish the race because he didn't upgrade the parts in his car and it broke down. And we still had a healthy lead over 4th place, and last 2 races we were quite close to top 5, but we only finished 8th or so. A lot of the top managers made some small mistakes here and there. That's why I think the top 3 winners this race has changed a bit. We ranked top 260 out of everyone in our same group, and we were 2 minutes 30 seconds slower than the fastest rival in the same class, and I wasn't expected to be topping up this chart. The main highlight for the race summary is that our driver only made 1 mistake in the race, and I think at the start of the season this also happened. We only made 1 mistake. We can see at the start of the season, because we had signed a contract to keep him for another season, he had a high motivation and he made only 1 mistake. Because we're doing good in the race and we keep getting motivation, that's why our driver is able to make only 1 mistake again for this race. And we earned about 600k more compared to finishing top 7 or so, which is a bit less than I expect for the race salary. We qualified about 10 places quicker than we normally do in the past few races, and that helped a bit to make us win 3rd place, cause we lose about 10-20 seconds if we're in 30th place or so. We can see our first lap was about 7 seconds slower than the top rivals, but the 2nd and 3rd lap instantly were about 1 to 3 seconds slower. So there's something probably with our driver stats that's making the difference between the top and our drivers. You can see because the top performer tried to save money and didn't upgrade the car parts, that's why he had a technical problem and something broke on the car and he lost all of that revenue he would got. So he's not actually saving money by letting his parts break, because you don't get much revenue for not finishing the race. And another thing we saw is that a lot of rivals pit quite late in the first 2 stints, like when we did. Lap 19 or so is about the center point where everyone pits for the 2 stops. And quite a few rivals pit within a lap or 2 of when we pit. Some rivals pitted even a bit later than us. If we look at our calculator too, we can see there's 5 more points of wear in our engine, and it reached 100% wear after the race. We're quite lucky that it didn't blow up for a few laps, and that would potentially has dropped us a few places. And our tire wear was a bit lower than what we calculated, but this is within the tolerance range of our calculator tool. And we can see we need to add 1 extra point of clear track risk to the car wear, because if we are finishing quicker in 3rd place, we have more clear track, so our car will weigh down more. When I look at the values, I figure out a few transition points where it's 52, 56 or so play track risk, and we found the center values, and we're going to use 56 or 59 or so for this race with the CTR. We look at sponsor negotiation. We're going to get our sponsor soon. It's at 90%, and you can see that they propose a okay duration of 24 races. We want to get a little bit more duration, and if we notice the amount they're going to pay us per race hasn't changed. Last time we were asking for a little bit more money, but they didn't do anything. We're also going to train our driver again to reduce the weight. If we look at the car wear, I was expecting to need to replace many parts this race based off the way we saw last race. Apparently we don't need to replace too many parts, and we're going to upgrade our parts. Well, we can see the engine is about 2 million more than the level 7, and 15 million is a lot of money. It might be tempting to downgrade or replace with a cheaper level, but we already know that finishing faster get us more revenue, and instantly that'll cover maybe $1 million or few million, and then you can downgrade a few more times. So in reality, the upgrade is the cheaper option. You can see we gained about 6 points or so for the car power, and we already have 9 car performance points in each category, and it's going to be a bit quicker to lose car points each race the more points we have. So it's a bit less efficient once we have 8 to 10 or so car points. When we keep testing, we just throw money down the drain. And if we keep upgrading our car instead to save money from the testing, that is potentially even more optimal because we can finish better and do other things with the money. It's tempting to think the car points from testing is relatively permanent, but in reality it lasts only 1 or 2 seasons before you don't get much or any benefit from, because you keep losing points each race anyways. You can see after the car update, our car performance is still relatively similar in the standings. You can see our car wear values are within check, and we also copied the values into our calculator tool. You can see out of all of the managers who have done testing, we have done 400 laps and we top 4. We can see this race, the person in second place didn't score much points, and the person in third place scored a few points for this race. And you can see a lot of different people score points compared to the last few races where we keep seeing similar people finish in the top few positions. It's difficult to understand why suddenly they drop in form and don't score much points this race. If we look at the race we're going to do, it's a bit difficult to overtake, so we want to do less pit stops, and we also check the past race summary. Our calculator suggests we should do a 2 or 3 pit stop, is in between 2 to 3 pit stops. But the past race data show that the optimum is a 2 pit stop, and 2 to 3 will work well. Potentially we can do a 1 pit stop, but that's a bit risky because 1.49 is quite close to 1.43 and can take one off the amount of pit stops that work for the past previous races, but since we're doing so well recently, we don't need to be that risky. So we do it based on past results and do 2 pit stops instead. That's a bit safer. You can see with the soft tires, we get way down on tires a lot. We can potentially do 21 laps, but that's a bit too risky. And we can comfortably do 20 laps. And we can have 2 extra laps than the total. If we look at the medium tires, it's not possible to do a 1 pit stop. And when we look at the hard tires, we have a bit too much tire wear left. But we can do a bit higher fuel load for the first 2 stints to take advantage of the extra tire life. We also entered the fuel required. We're going to find the setup for the race. We found the setup and we're going to find the wing split. You can see we did minus 120 for the wing split and we got the fastest time, but when we do minus 90 or so, our best lap dropped a lot. So we can set our wing split to be about 20 points higher than lap 7 or so. We're gonna do qualifying. The lap time is quite good because it's 0.1 of the best time, and our driver max mistake is about 0.5 seconds. We entered the fuel required. You can see our qualifying is very good, but a lot of the rivals haven't qualified yet, and we're right between the fastest rival in our group. Suddenly we can see our qualifying time is about top 25% or so out of all current qualified managers, which is top 250 out of 700. The small increase in our car performance from the upgrades and reducing our driver by 1 kg every race and gaining some motivation so he drives a bit better has helped us a lot and get this much fastest qualifying result. Last race we are top 40% or so, and this time we are top 25. We entered the fuel required and we're doing boost lap in the last stint, which requires 7 liters of fuel. We entered the boost lap to the last few laps, and then we entered the setup required for the race. We're not going to change any of the driver risk because it's quite optimum and we can't have higher stamina drain anyways.